Hi guys,
Hi guys,
it's Chloe,
and it's Margaret.
and welcome to C&M Chatterbox. So, I don't know if you guys can tell, but Margaret is currently not in school as she is at home quarantining. So very special. And so in today's podcast, we'll be talking about body positivity, and how social media affects body image in a negative way. Sorry.
Yeah,
Um,
about how toxic social media can be when it comes to body positivity.
yeah. So
Yeah.
to start off, Margaret, what do you think about body positivity in relation to social media in general?
Honestly, I feel like, I mean, social media is good in terms of promoting body positivity, but I feel like it has also become very toxic because in social media, so many, I don't know how to say this. Social media, I feel like, is the reason why, partly the reason why people have body standards. Because when they see all these girls and all these attractive guys, I feel like social media has sort of kept a mindset to people's head that you have to be skinny or you have to be fit to be attractive.
Yeah, I
I
agree
also
with you.
Mhm.
More before,
But
sorry.
go
Well, more before, like in modeling, how in like in the 1900s, there's like
on.
people in modeling. There was this perception that you have to be one specific size, you have to be skinny, tall. There was no real diversity, especially in like Miss World or Miss Universe. Sorry, Miss Universe, and there's always this certain kind of trait that you had to have. And recently, like in the 2000s, that's when it started to change. We started seeing more colored women up there. We saw different people in different sizes. And especially when you're promoting or marketing a specific brand or type of clothing, you also see this diversity of people of color, different sizes, promoting it, making people
Yeah.
feel like, oh, you can be any size but still wear the clothes and still look great in it.
Yeah, but I feel like the reason why this is still around, the reason why people are still talking about body positivity is because it's been there for such a long time. So it's very difficult to what is happening? but but it's very difficult. It's very difficult to change people's mindsets because it's always been like this, and people started talking about this recently. So I feel like if this wasn't there before, then we wouldn't have this problem, and we wouldn't think that social media is toxic and all that.
But it's because
So
so many people have brought it to people's attention, because yes, it's an issue. Like there's people, they compare each other to different people, and people feel that they have to live up to the society standards of what beauty is, or what you have to look like in order to be considered beautiful. Or
yeah, like there was this TikTok I saw yesterday, and it was this guy who was talking about how being called fat sounds like an insult. So he was asking the viewers why is it called an insult? Because if you're fat, you're fat. It's not
yeah.
supposed to be an insult.
Yeah, but like I
Yeah.
feel like over the years people have turned it into an insult, something that people say to hurt you. Like they say, "Oh, you're fat." And then people take it in a bad way. Like I am guilty of that. Sometimes when people say, "Oh, you're fat," I take it into like it hurts, because society has made it a word that sounds like it's a terrible thing to be fat, but it really isn't. It's just like the way your body looks. It's not supposed to be a bad thing.
Yeah. Or when you not met a family member or a friend for a long time, then you finally meet them and like, oh, you've gained so much weight. Like whenever that happens to me, I feel so offended, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. But then if I sit down and think about it, what's the problem with gaining weight?
Yeah,
I feel
exactly.
like
I mean,
shouldn't.
as you grow, you eat more, you gain weight. I mean, that's life. Everybody does that. When you're an adult, you're not supposed to be 100 pounds or how many, I don't know what that is in kilos, but as an American, I say pounds. So like you could be 100 pounds. You're not going to be 100 pounds forever. Like first off, being 25 and 100 pounds, so I wouldn't really consider that being very healthy, personally. There's a limit, but so many people struggle with this image that people feel like, oh, well, I have to do something in order to feel part of society. So people will have eating disorders and feel like they need to starve themselves in order to look like other people, when you really don't need to do that. You just have to be yourself and you have to accept yourself. But with people always judging you and making you feel a certain way, it makes especially girls, it makes it really hard for them to be themselves and live in their own skin and be happy with that.
And people end up trying to lose weight, people end up working out not to be healthy but to lose weight, and that's super unhealthy. So I had a friend of mine who like during the beginning of last year, she had gained weight. And it's not that it looked ugly, but because everybody around her was skinny, perfect body, and then during that time she was like super addicted to TikTok. She's not addicted to TikTok anymore, but she was super addicted to TikTok. So the girls on TikTok, the famous girls like Carly and all that, perfect bodies, small boobs, curveless and all that. Yeah. So as she saw that she was gaining weight, at some point she started to eat less because she was working out, but then she felt like she wasn't getting any fast results. So she started starving herself, sort of. And she was eating, but then she wasn't eating a lot.
Yeah.
And then by the time it was, I think May, June, she lost so much weight and she didn't look healthy.
Yeah, the most important thing is you being healthy. I mean, first off, being healthy is like, it's a good thing. Like, if you're always thinking this mindset that like, oh, you have to look this certain way, you have to stop eating, that's not you being healthy. That's not going to make you happy. That's going to make you unhealthy and make you feel really bad about yourself after. Well, in our generation, as technology starts to grow and advance, it's like we mindlessly scroll all the time through Instagram, Facebook, whenever we have just a few seconds of downtime, and we look at these celebrities who are like Zendaya. Like we look at all these celebrities and how they look and like their gym selfies and like how happy they are. And this mindset gets people to think, oh, if I do the same, I mean, in some ways it's a good thing. Like if you see your favorite celebrity working out and stuff, like that's going to push you to want to work out because you want to be your best self. But then some people change that mindset to make it a bad thing. Like, oh, they have to starve themselves in order to look like that person.
Exactly. People like what's her name? Lizzo.
Yes.
She doesn't work out to lose weight. She works out to be healthy.
Exactly.
And to just be happy, because she believes that once you work on yourself, your mental health, and you work out, it cleanses your mind and you become a better person. That's why she works out and all that and eats healthy. So I feel like it's very good of her to use her platform to promote this. So
indeed,
I feel like we should all try to be this way. We should all try to be happy with our bodies and not compare ourselves to other people, because if you try to be someone else, then you're not really original.
Exactly. And I just finished a book I was reading called Atomic Habits, and for you listeners out there, I really recommend you get this book because it's such an amazing book. But the whole principle of the book is about building habits and how to be your best self at the end of the day. Now, we are humans. It's hard for us to build habits and stick with it. I mean, me personally, I always be like, okay, beginning of the next year, I have all these habits I'm going to start, these things I'm going to stop doing. Next thing you know, I go back to the same habits that I didn't want to continue. But what this guy said, his name's James Clear. What he said was that we have to make things more satisfying to us when we want to exercise to be the better versions of ourselves, to be healthy. So like Lizzo, what she's doing is she's making working out satisfying to her. She's doing little things that make it interesting for her to continue working out every day to be her best self and to be healthy. Not every time you have to do something for the gratification and satisfaction from others. You have to do it for yourself. Everything you have to do in life, you have to do it for yourself, because these people that are in your life are not going to be there forever. They're not going to, basically you can't allow other people to tell you how you have to look out, like how you have to feel, how you have to think, because these people are not going to be in your life forever. They're people that are here for right now, and if you change yourself now, change yourself so much, you're not going to even remember who you are at some point. You're going to have a huge identity crisis, and you're going to have trouble looking back at who you really are. So there's, going back to social media, there's like advantages and disadvantages to it. And yes, there's advantages. You get it, like on Instagram, you can talk to your friends, and then you can also see what people are doing, but there's also psychological disadvantages to it.
And I also feel like even with human beings, I feel like we also promote, how do we call it? Body negativity? Yeah. I don't know. But I feel like also as humans, we do promote it, because like in some areas, for example, for girls, for example, maybe they would want to look a certain way because all the guys like a certain type of girl, you know? I didn't know this was a thing until I moved here. Well, because I come from a country where there's like lots of black people, of course. But when I moved here, even when I got into TikTok and stuff, so many black girls don't appreciate their skin color and how they look like, because it's
but it's basically a TED Talk talking about the dangers of a single story. Now, it talks about this writer who lived in Nigeria, and she always had this single view of what a story is, what literature is. She was reading books from like the UK and basically English literature, and she only had this perception in her writing. When she wrote, it was always about like the same type, like a blue eye, blonde hair, white skin, pale and stuff like that, always like that. But she never really knew about like the skin color of like her people. Like she never really read any literature on her own people, and when she started reading it, she realized how different it is and how literature can kind of change your perception of different things. So like, for example, when she said that when she went to the US, she had a roommate who was American. She didn't, like, people considered Africa as a country, which I'm not surprised that some Americans think that. But they think Africa is a country. And she was like, oh yeah, can you play your tribal music? And she said that she was very disappointed because it was she had an obsession with like Mariah Carey. And she says that she never really learned about like her color, and she always, like you said, like she always saw her skin color as like less than others, like the white, I don't know how to say this, but like the white color, like being white is like a privilege. Like it was something that they wanted to have because they had so much privilege. They were able to do so many things that the black community couldn't. So
yeah, like if you're white, right?
Exactly.
Right, there's so many successful black women out there, beautiful.
Exactly.
But yeah,
it's heartbreaking, like, because I know in the US that like the black community has always been suppressed for so many years, and the fact that even like in some parts of Africa, some girls, the only literature that they read is the Western European literature, which is based on one, like she says, one single story. You only get one side of the story, basically. You don't get both sides. You don't get different perceptions of what's going on. You have one side, and then your brain functions and changes to just accept only that one thing. Like curly hair and straight hair. Some people, when black women have that kinky hair and stuff like that, people say like,
I
oh,
can totally relate to this.
I prefer straight hair over kinky hair. When you have your straight hair and you're a black woman, they say, oh, I like your straight hair over your kinky hair. Like, why would you say, why would someone like say that? You can't look at like the way you look or who you are. You can't base it off of like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you can't say like, oh, you like something better and that's their natural hair. You can't feel like it's bad to have that type of hair.
Oh, you're really pretty for a black girl. I will never understand that. Oh, you're really pretty for a fat girl. But I can totally relate to the hair thing, because I never used to be like I never used to be insecure about my hair as I am here. Like when I started school here, I made a vow to myself that I would never show up to school with my natural hair because I didn't like the way it looked on me. But then back home, I would totally be okay with walking around with my natural hair because people would think that it's pretty and appreciated. But then I feel like if I walk around with my natural hair here, people would think I look odd or off. But it's something that I'm trying to work on. And I did undo my braids. I didn't do my braids. I'm gonna try to come to school on Thursday with my natural hair and try not to care what other people think about my hair because it's my hair. But I know that it makes me look pretty. Right?
Exactly. Like I remember one day Treasure, she's a girl in our year. She came in to school with her hair like her natural hair, and honestly, I loved it. I love her hair. I love the fact that she came in like a boss and then showed off her hair and just like, I don't care what you say, let me do my thing.
I admire about Treasure. Like that is one thing about I admire about Treasure, because she doesn't care what other people think, and she stands up for herself. And I feel like some people could think that she's mean, but she really just stands up to herself. And when she feels like someone is misbehaving or is not being nice, she tells them, no, you're not being nice, correct yourself. Like there was this one time, this guy, okay, I'm totally going off topic, but there was this one time this guy came up to us, we were having lunch, and then he asked for gum. He was like, can I have gum? And then Treasure was like, I'm not giving you gum until you say please. And I really appreciate it, because nobody else would have corrected that guy, because if you correct someone like that, then you're considered mean. But then she was just teaching him manners and stuff.
Exactly.
So I really admire that about her. She embraces her culture, her beauty, and she's very much confident.
She knows her worth. She knows who she is.
She doesn't care. Like she knows that she's that person.
Exactly. And I just, going back to body image, I wanted to just give you guys some background information, some facts about like statistics on body image and how social media and daily activities has affected young girls. So it's said that over 70% of girls aged 15 to 17 avoid normal daily activity, such as attending school, when they feel bad about their looks. Now this, I don't know about it personally, but I have friends that have been like, and it's especially like when you're sending like a Snapchat picture or making or something like that, you always want to look your best when you're coming to school. If you look bad, you don't want to go to school and stuff like that. And like, I feel like everybody goes through this. Like if you look bad, if something's going on, you don't want to show it to other people because you don't want other people to judge you. I don't know. What do you think?
I mean, I feel like it's okay to care about how you look like, but then I feel like it's not okay to care about how you look like because of what other people will think. I'm not gonna change the way I dress because if I dress a certain way, people are gonna think I'm weird and all that. So it's okay to care about how you look like and stuff, but only if it's for your sake, but also in a healthy way.
Yeah, absolutely.
In the most way possible, yeah. Because you could care about how you look like and say, oh, I'm gonna lose weight because the way I don't like the way I look, and all, then you end up starving yourself. And I don't think that's healthy. But if you don't like the way you look, you could at least try to either appreciate your body or just work on looking better for yourself, but in the most healthiest way possible. I hope you get me.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
yeah, absolutely.
because
Um,
you have a certain body standard because everybody looks that way, so you want to look that way.
mhm.
That's what I'm saying.
So I also wanted to bring up like boys because like it's said that 38% of boys in middle school and high school reported using protein supplements and nearly 6% admitted to experimenting with steroids. Now, I know I also know that in social media you have all these guys that are like buff and muscular, and there's a lot of guys to look like that. Like I have a little brother, like we all have siblings like that want to look like they like look muscular and stuff like that, and they
Yeah.
sometimes feel insecure about the way they look because they look at other boys in their year or people on social media and they all are like have muscles and they're all like perfect body and stuff like that, and you know it also like for boys it also drives them like to do things that they will regret later. So do teen girls. I feel like it's like a teenage thing. A lot of teenagers who are not comfortable with themselves yet have an issue accepting who they are.
Yeah, but you know what? My brothers are, they're completely different. Well, we don't really talk about like stuff like this, but then just by knowing my brothers, they're very much confident about how they look like. And my little brother has this thing. Yeah, my little brother has like this thing where he, every single time, every single day, he will just remind us on how handsome he is. And honestly, it's very much annoying at some point. But then my mom always says that he really admires how he has self-love, because it's tough. It's tough because he's a bit young, so he's not as exposed to social media.
Yeah.
So at his age, he's 13. At his age, having that much self-love will completely help him with social media
Yeah,
and knowing how
absolutely.
to handle
Yeah.
everything, I feel like. And it's the same for my big brother. Like my big brother, he knows he's good looking. He knows that he doesn't need to work out or do a certain thing to look better because he knows that he looks good. And that's one of the things I love about my brothers
Yeah.
that I wish I could have.
So
Yeah.
now we have a guest joining us into the pod. It's Treasure. You already oh yes, clap. So if you guys listen to our other podcasts, you know Treasure from the Girls Supporting Girls podcast with Beatrice. And so she's back here today to talk with us about body positivity, body image, relating to social media. So,
hi guys.
So we already talked quite a lot about it, but I want to ask you personally about what you personally feel about body positivity in relation to social media.
Well, first of all, I just like to say that it doesn't matter to anyone who's watching. It doesn't matter how you look like. It's what's inside that matters. Like what you think about yourself. Like the body positivity. Like what you think is good for you. That's what's good for you. Like you shouldn't mind what people say. And I think that it's a struggle to, I can say, fit into society or blend in, because you see people on Instagram like Kylie Jenner or like Bella Hadid. You see a lot of people like that, like with slim fit and everything. And you want to like push yourself to become like those people because that's what you think people aspire or people want in life. But I don't think it is, because although you might think so, it's not you. Okay, I have to say this. But I personally think that I'm trying to I'm pushing myself and try to accept the way I am, because Like the photo I just showed Chloe. I felt so good about myself this morning. I felt so confident. I felt like, I mean, why aren't people seeing all this in me? But I don't show this part of myself because I know people are definitely going to judge, and I'm starting to accept that, and I'm starting to make my I'm starting to build my confidence in that. I'm trying to not make people dwell on that and call me fat and make that let me down, bring me down. And I'm trying to accept that, and that's a really good thing.
At the end of the day, you should be able to post and do whatever you want and not care what people think of you. Because people are always going to talk. So if you listen, you're never going to do the things that you want.
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm saying. I'm trying to build my confidence.
Yeah.
Not to let, like, this photo, I wish I could post it right now, but maybe like in the future, maybe if I'm more cinched. Maybe I'll post that. But for now, I'm trying to build it up, and I am learning every day to accept the fact that people are not going to see me as the perfect blonde, blue eye, obviously not, but perfect person. And that's like stereotypical.
Going back to what you said, perfect. What is perfect?
Perfect doesn't exist, I honestly. I don't think, because hey, God made us in a special image, okay, in His own way. And I don't know if anyone who's listening to this believe in God, but I do. I'm gonna say that I do believe in God, and He made us in His own image. He made everyone differently, but in His own image. He took His time to create every single person in a different way, but in a good and special way. So,
and it's your choice to see what you want to see.
Yeah.
He made you who you are. You have to learn from experiences to build yourself up, not build yourself down.
Exactly. And plus, it's like, as a Christian, it's sort of like offensive to God because you're part of Him. You're sort of His image. So when you say that you don't appreciate how you look like, it's sort of very much offensive to God because He took His time to make you, and to Him, you're perfect. You know? Yeah.
And I also want to say that, social media influencers, celebrities, TV, movies, magazines, and the internet all bombard teens with different images and pressures about what their bodies should look like. And the problem is these versions of beauty, quote unquote, are not obtainable because they aren't really realistic. And the majority of images are airbrushed versions of models who weigh 23% less than the average woman. Like, so many celebrities touch up their pictures to look better than they actually do. And they Photoshop things. And nevertheless, millions of teens believe the lies and resort to unhealthy measures to try to fit themselves into that impossible mold that is not actually their actual mold. It's what their producers or what they do to Photoshop it to make them look 10 times better than they are. Like, not saying that they already don't look that great, but like...
The thing is with celebrities is that because they know that millions of people are going to be watching them, so they want to look good because they know that if they don't look good, if they make a mistake and all that, then they'll get backlash. People will diss them, people will make memes about them, and then that sort of affects someone's mental health. So they try to look as perfect as possible to prevent that.
Yeah.
Because they know that people can be really mean.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I think. Oh, anyway.
Treasure's doing TikToks, by the way, guys. Okay.
Wow,
oh, Lord.
They're making TikToks. Okay.
And
I'm appreciating my talent, okay?
talking about body positivity again. So there's a body positivity movement in its currents that formed in 2012, which initially focuses on the challenging unrealistic feminine beauty standards. And as the movement grew in popularity, the original focus on acceptance of weight began to shift toward a message that all bodies are beautiful. So, like, example, Lizzo, like Margaret talked about earlier, and like, I don't know if many of you know, but there's a TikToker whose name is Sienna May, and she is very much known for body positivity and showing people that you are beautiful regardless of how you look like. And for to be honest with you, she is drop dead gorgeous. But you are beautiful in any way possible. Go, Treasure.
Honestly, I don't know why I was seeing a lot of things about positivity yesterday. Like I was just scrolling through my explore page on Instagram, and I saw this like flashback of That's So Raven, and she was like on a runway. I don't know if anyone remember this episode, but she was like on a runway, and a lady came up to her and she was like, you don't look like what is like meant to be." I don't know. I forgot what. I wish I saved it, but she was like, you don't look the type. Like, runway models have like a specific stereotypical thing, and that is really really bad because people need to accept anything, like the way you look, the color you look, or anything. People need to accept that no matter where you come from or how you look like or what your background was. But I feel like runway models are only made to be maybe really really skinny like a stick. No offense, but actually a little offensive. But like that's not what we were meant to motivate like younger generations now to come. We're not to make them feel like, oh, you have to look a certain way, you have to be this height, you have to look really really thin, you have to eat only salad and drink ice blocks or whatever. That's not what we're meant to be doing. We're meant to be teaching those people how to accept their body, or however way you come and everything.
I'm meant to tell them that no matter how you look like, you can be a model. You can do so many things.
Yeah.
You don't have to be skinny. Yeah.
And also
You
going back to the Sienna May thing, Majigi, that Chloe brought up. I love the fact that she's doing that. But honestly, if it was Lizzo or like someone maybe not famous as Lizzo, but if it was like a small creator and the same size or same shape as Lizzo, I don't think they'll get that much attention from it. Honestly, because Lizzo is like, I want to say me. I'm not saying me, but like she has a certain way that she makes people accept her. Don't come for me, okay? I'm just speaking my mind, and it's okay for me to have my own opinions.
Yes. Period.
Period.
Yeah.
Period.
So, quote.
Oh no, go ahead.
quote, It says, "I stopped judging my body the moment I realized it doesn't judge me for my misuse of it." By Leah Stone. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
No, here.
I want to leave, I guess, to wrap up this whole entire podcast with two lovely girls. I wanted to say this one quote from Alan Cohen, which says, "To love yourself right now, just as you are, is to give yourself heaven. Don't wait until you die. If you wait, you die now. If you love, you live now." So, and also I have one more. To be beautiful means to be yourself. You don't need to be accepted by others. You need to accept yourself. To leave you on this note, you have to accept yourself first. You should always come first. How you feel, how you think of yourself is the most important thing ever, not what other people think. Because if those people tell you what you have to look like, how you have to feel, what you have to do, they are not worth it. They're not worth it because you can't allow yourself to go into an identity crisis where you do not know who you are later on. And you have to accept yourself now as a person and do whatever you can. One thing that's really helpful is meditating, journaling, trying to find yourself and not feed into the negativity. Take social media breaks to disconnect and get to know yourself a little better. And that's what quarantine was great for, I think, last year. And for the people that are still in quarantine, because you get a lot of more time and opportunity to work on yourself, exercise more, etc. So yeah.
Also, there's this other quote that I just saw. It says, "You're not a mistake. You're not a problem to be solved, but you won't discover this until you're willing to stop banging your head against the wall of shaming and caging and fearing yourself." So, yeah. So that's all I have to say. Unless you can, when it comes to relationships, if you feel like you're in a relationship where your guy is constantly pushing you to look a certain way, then you shouldn't be in that relationship because he doesn't accept the way you look like.
Exactly.
Unless he's concerned about your health and all
True.
that, then that's
No, but
totally different.
that's
It's
when
okay that
that's
he
when
cares.
you're
It's
extremely
okay that he cares
close.
about your health. But if he's constantly pushing you to lose weight so you can look a certain way, then he's not the one.
Drop that mom.
Okay, well, thank you, Treasure, for joining us into this podcast.
Anytime. Just
And thank you all for listening all the way through the podcast. Let us know what you think on this topic, or if you have any future recommendations down in the comments below, or on YouTube, or send us a message on CM Chatterbox on Instagram. Well, thank you guys.
Sorry, 1 second.
Go ahead, Treasure. Give yourself some self promo.
Follow me on Instagram at treasured_236.
Okay, guys. Thank you. Bye.